On tonight's show, we have advertising expert, recruiter, and trainer, Helène Parker. And now for your host, KoolKard. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I am here, kicking it with KoolKard show. I am KoolKard, your host for this evening. Yes, hey, I'm gonna jump right into this episode. I have an advertising expert coming on the show to kick it and talk to us about programmatic media and advertising. I had never heard of the term. Apparently, it's makes up 84% of like all digital advertising. But I had never heard the term. But I do have an expert on the show, because if you never heard the term, I have an expert coming on the show that's going to fill us in on everything you need to know. And also, something that stuck out to me was that she is a trainer and a recruiter, and she tells me that she can get people placed into jobs, into careers, making a minimum of $55,000 with no experience. Now, that kind of hurt my heart. And I'm going to tell you why it hurt my heart. Because I have a communications degree in media, and I didn't do an internship in college. And when I got out, when I graduated, people turned me away. They turned me away because they said I didn't have any experience. And I was like, well, if you don't give me a job, how can I get experience? So in media, it's really hard to get a job or get a foot in the door without any experience. So if you are in college right now and you're studying media, communications, or whatever, please do an internship. Please get that experience, because they will turn you away, and then your degree will mean nothing. Nothing. You hear me? But so I want to pick her brain and understand how she's placing people with no experience in advertising. All right? Well, let's bring her on. Let's get her on the show. Let's dig into her brain and figure these things out, because I'm taken aback right now. Let's go, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Helène Parker to the show. How you doing tonight, Helène?
I am doing fantastic now that I'm speaking with you. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderfully well, blessed, and thankful that you're here to share all of your knowledge. I do this show for value, man. I just try to bring everybody that watches it some type of value. So you might save some people's lives tonight. You really might, because people might be in a dead-end job, have no idea what they want to do, and they be like, you know what? I do like advertising. Advertisement, but I don't have any experience. So you might be the plug. You might.
I am the plug. And it's because I've been these people that I've created this plug for people that look and sound like me or can relate with my ethnicity, culturally, racially, wherever I come from. And that's really important to me, making sure that the people that are part of a marginalized group can look up and say, hey, actually, I can tap in and get in, you know?
Yes.
And we do need to know people to get in, but I know some of those people already.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you definitely are the plug then. So they don't want to run off on you. They want to gather all the information you have to provide so you can change their lives. Like I'm really mesmerized by that, because I'm so serious. When I graduated and I didn't do an internship, I got every door slammed in my face. Like, nope, you don't have any experience. And I'm just like, well, dang, So it is what it is. But that's why we have you here, to change lives, to spread that value and that knowledge and your services as well. But before we jump in, I have to do my prayer.
Go ahead.
You good with that? You say go ahead.
Go ahead. Conversation. Go ahead.
Let's do it. Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, we just thank you for this moment. We thank you for this moment in time, Lord Jesus. We just thank you for bringing us Helène, Lord Jesus, to come here and speak so eloquently about her profession and her skills, Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, and her gift, and just how she's changing people's lives, Lord Jesus. We just thank you for her time. We just thank you for waking us up this morning. We thank you for life, good health, happiness, Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, a roof over our head, all the little things that we may take for granted. We thank you for it. We thank you for all the trials and tribulations that have built us up and made us stronger. Thank you for bringing us through them. Lord Jesus, we just give you all the victory, all the glory, all the love, all the praise. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. So listen, you are an advertising expert, specifically with programmatic advertising and media. Before we talk about that, tell me about you though. Who are you? Who is Ellen? Because we know you, who you are. Well, we've heard about who you are professionally, but give us a little something about you as a person. You don't have to get too personal, but you know.
Mhm. So I was born and raised in West Africa. I'm kidding. Well, where I come from is part of who I am. So I was born and raised in a small country called Senegal in West Africa.
Oh, okay.
And we were colonized by the French. So the official language is French. That's why when you read my name, it's phonetically Helene, but don't call me Helene in these streets because I won't respond. You can call me Ellen. Ellen is as close as it can get. But my origins are Cape Verdean, which is also a West African country right next to Senegal, and they were colonized by Portugal. So their official language is a Portuguese Creole, and my grandma is Lebanese. So I have a lot of culture in me. I still identify and am a Senegalese, and so come from a very big family. Moved to the U.S. for school and met my husband, or my boyfriend, who's not my husband, and then became citizen and the whole thing, and went to college. But when I was younger, I think my dad told me I wanted to be a singer, which is, I mean, I do think I'm dancing in the shower by myself, minding my business, but you know, won't there. You know, God had another plan, and He led me into the marketing world because I saw my mom. My mom was my biggest inspiration in life, including getting into this field.
Okay.
And I remember like she was working for her airline company, and I remember her just carrying those big graph board, from back in the days, and she had like red lipstick and like hoops on, and she looked like really the 9 yard, and she was director of marketing for this big airline company, and she would travel once a quarter, and I was like, I don't know what marketing is, but it's cool, I want to be that. So when I went to college, I knew for a fact what I wanted to do. Did college in 4 years, and I find it really interesting that you said, I really appreciate what you said about not finding any jobs coming out of college. Now, I might put you on the spot, but when did you graduate?
Girl, hey, that's irrelevant, no? Nah, I ain't even gonna lie. I graduated in 04. I have no shame. It's all
Okay, no, I don't know why you act like you're old. You're really not old. 04 is not
nah,
that bad.
nah,
Because
nah.
I graduated, so I started college in 08. So I graduated the community college in 12. And so 15, no, 14, no, 13, I was done.
Okay.
And so found a job out of college, but was like laid off, and just like you, started applying everywhere. And the only difference between you and I is that I did have an internship, and where I had the internship, I really hustled to
Okay.
like network while I was on ground doing this
Yeah.
internship with all type of hiring managers. And then another department hired me. But fast forward, when I was laid off from that company, I started applying, and then this agency in Virginia Beach, because that's where I worked and lived at the time, Virginia Beach, Virginia. I applied to this agency, and I applied to be a media buyer for traditional media because I came from the print advertising. I was handling the online part of the print. But then I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this. It's advertising, whatever. I know a little bit how the print world works. So they call me back and say, hey, we got your application, but you're not qualified for this job. And I was like, oh, thank you for calling me back. I appreciate it.
Right. Yeah. That says a lot for them just to call you.
But they said, you're not qualified for this one, but you would be interested for this other one. And it was Programmatic Media Trader.
Oh, okay.
And then so I was like, okay, well, right now money is the biggest motivation because I was a recent grad. So I had bills. And so I said, okay, let's go ahead and do it. So I was lucky, unlike you, right, to have somebody look at my background, saw that I worked for this big company, so I interned for this big marketing company, and give me a chance.
Yeah.
And that's not the case even today, unfortunately. Like, you have to know somebody to get in, or you have to have the skill set.
Yes.
Not a lot of companies are willing to, train from scratch, and that sucks. Like, how are you gonna give us a chance? All those college students
Exactly. Spend
that are
all that
graduating.
money, spend all
Hmm.
that money,
Yeah,
and get
yeah,
out and can't even pay it back.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
so it was right after 2008 is when everything went. And so when I graduated in 13, we were still paying for how bad things went down in 08 or 09 and
Yeah.
whatnot. And it was really hard to find a job. It was really hard to find a job. But I think I was one of the ones that I'm not going to call it luck because I remember hustling like crazy.
You were fortunate.
Like, like I went in and I was like, listen, God, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to go talk to this person about the weather, about somebody, but they're going to remember my name.
Yeah.
Because I know they're a hiring manager for this company in marketing, and I don't know what I want to do in marketing, but they're gonna help me figure it out. And so that's what I did. So if you're a college student, you're listening right now, or your kid is in college, like tell them to get active. College is not about, oh, you're about to get some hate mails for this, but college is not about the knowledge we acquire. It's about the experience, okay?
Yeah.
And so what I mean by that is that I've learned way more by being active on campus. Like my husband was just telling me, like, you were doing a lot in college. Like I was in SGA, I was in Student International
Yeah.
Student Alliance, I was doing all these groups. And so I say that to say, like, you got to put yourself out there and just bet. Like, you don't have to figure it out. And I think that's the biggest mistake that people do. Like, they wait until they have a concrete plan from A to B. I mean, A to Z, but like, nobody knows what they're doing out there.
Yeah.
So, how can you figure it out what you're doing in college? It's only 4 years. It's a small time of your life, right?
Yeah.
So, put yourself out there.
So
Now,
I feel like with the information that you're getting in college, you have to go and exercise that in the real world in
yeah,
college so you can
exactly.
have that experience. You know what I'm saying? Because once you get out there,
Absolutely.
if you haven't exercised it, you get to a company they're probably not gonna do anything that you learned in that book anyway.
No, like listen,
Like,
I knew listen, okay, I'm about to tell myself, I hope you're not about to judge me, but I knew I wanted to be in marketing and I took marketing twice because I failed it the first time. Marketing, I had a D, marketing 1-1. And so I had to retake it that summer semester to like, I don't know if colleges still do it, but if you retake the same class and you have a higher grade, they remember the higher grade, not the lower grade.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I remember taking it and still getting a C.
Hey, hell, you passed.
So pass, listen.
It got
I
you
mean, you
through.
passed with D, but I was like, nah, D is not it. Let me take it again. And I remember having to like work babysitting job. I think at that time I worked at Dillard's or somewhere, going in an internship. I think I did some tutoring as well because like I wanted to I didn't tell my dad I was retaking the same class because he's paying for my college, so I kind of had to pay for that one. So he still paid for it, but I knew that I was going to run out of the loan, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I had like loan for so many semesters, so I was already working towards like, when that happened, what am I going to do? But yeah, so you just, because like marketing is all about like, when what you learn in marketing in college is all about like definitions, terms, trends,
Hmm.
like what does marketing means, what does advertising mean, what type of advertising is,
But then
like
somewhere down the line, you have to learn how to
yeah,
apply that, right?
like, and you have to learn how to
Put it
apply that some,
put it
and
in
the same
motion.
thing with the word, with programmatic, and I know we're going to talk about it a little later, but programmatic is all about definition. And once you understand those definitions, then you use technology to implement. It's the same thing. It's the
Hmm.
same concept. It's
Okay.
just a different perspective.
Now let me ask you this: when you were called back and said they told you were underqualified, and they said, "Hey, well, we
Mm-hmm.
have this programmatic media position." Was that your first time hearing about it? Was that your first time hearing that term?
Yes,
Yeah.
do the yes, yeah, yes, yes.
So
That was my first time hearing about
you were
it,
like,
and
"What the hell is that?"
I said, "Is it digital marketing?" He was like, "Yes, digital advertising specifically, and it's very technology heavy." All I can hear is like technology equals money, and right now you broke KK. So let's make money. And I said, "Yes, yeah, uh-huh." I remember going back home and trying to YouTube it. It was nothing out there,
Yeah.
nothing. Trying to Google it, it was some things coming up. So I was like, okay, at least remember how to spell it, cause like, and how to pronounce it, so that you don't go butchered. But when I did the interview, he was like, listen, we really, love your resume because you work for Dominion Enterprises and you intern in social media. So that's as close as it can get to what we're about to train you. And so
Okay.
he explained what it was. Again, all I could hear is like, you're about to have some income, you're about to have a
Right.
paycheck.
Let's do it.
That's a
Sign me
big
up.
yes, yes. And because I knew that I didn't have the skill set they needed or looking for, I leveraged something else, which was my personality and my character. And Myron Golden
Yep.
always says that you can leverage what you lack in your. Oh, wait, you can leverage. Oh, God, I forgot it and I have it on my phone. It's like you can always leverage what you lack in ability. Okay, I
Absolutely.
love this. It's like you don't have to know it all right now, but there's something about you that you can leverage to
Yep.
make sure they don't only focus on your weakness
Yeah.
or your lack of whatever skill set it is. And that's what I did. I was like, I don't sell nothing, but I'm gonna sell this person as much as
At the
possible.
end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
people help who they like.
Yeah, period.
They will go to bat for you if they like you. They like your
Yeah.
personality. They like your spirit. You're funny. You make the room feel good. They want you around, and they're gonna look out for you. They're gonna be like, hey, well, she don't have this skill set and this skill set, and this person might be more qualified, but I think she's a fit. She fits the culture here. All that, you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely you gotta win the room.
And I love what you said earlier before we got live, because you was like, oh, I'm an introvert and I'm an actor. And, to me, being an introvert and extrovert is just another way to show your superpower, that power that God gave you. And when I hear introvert, I hear somebody that recharges in nature by themselves, right? It doesn't have to be to the that's my definition. An
It's a good
extrovert like
definition.
myself,
It's a good definition.
an extrovert like myself, I really thrive in public, in a crowd. Like we're known as the life of the party because we really do love people like this. Sometimes we're too trusting too. So, but I still need my me time. I still need some alone time. Take the husband, hide the kids, hide the husband. I don't want to see you. Myself. But I'm an extrovert. So I hear a lot of people that I talk to that are super smart, very they're amazing, that tell me, it's easy to say this when you're an extrovert, but I'm like, I disagree. Because you're an introvert, you have that superpower. You can bring it out. Yep. Now you just have to remember that the way you recharge is by yourself. So you have to take care of yourself too.
Yes. Yes.
So
yes. Yeah. Listen, man. Because I'm an introvert, when I go out there, like if I'm on set or back when I was doing music and stuff like that, like I would be out there, but you feel the weight of that on you. But it's you put on that show though, and like you said, it is like a superpower because you have to endure something that you don't really even want to endure, but you go out there and do something that you love and you put on that show, you put on that face, you bring out that energy and they love it. And little do they know, it's like, this is not really you. I mean, I'm like a character right now. I'm putting on a performance. I'm entertaining, but this is not who I am. But they'll never know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
sometimes play the game, but what I like to say is you can't play the game, but always remember who you are at the end of the day, because even it's like in digital advertising, we spend us Black folks. Okay, I'm gonna be really real with you. When I worked for an ad agency for 10 years. That's my background in programmatic media specifically. And I started handling small media accounts, small ad accounts, move into the multi six figures, into the multi seven figure brands that you hear sometime on TV, managing their ad campaigns in those different technology that we call programmatic DSPs. And I was always the one of the only Black girl. It was only one or two or three of us. That's it. Okay. Or it was one of us and it was somebody from the Asian continent or the Latin American continent or somebody from the African continent, right? So you could count in one hand who had a very diverse background. And that's exhausting. That's really exhausting. So I've learned how to code switch very well. And I hated it. How you see those memes about people listening to trap music on the way to work. That was me. That was me. I don't even like trap music like that, but I was like turning all the up because I can't. I just about to like
You had to
I'm about to have
transform real
to put,
quick.
yeah, I have to put my 9 to 5 voice real quick.
Yeah.
Or it's just like that one meme that came out during the pandemic. It was like at 8 a.m., 8:55 or 59, they were like, twerking on some trap music, and then at 9 a.m. she's like, "Oh, then you're gonna go ahead and transfer all your files on my template that I'm gonna send." Yeah, that was me.
Right.
But again, with with that comes a certain level of growth and superpower. And very recently, I read "You by Dr. E.T. Eric Thomas,
Yeah.
the hip hop preacher. And in there, he has like almost a whole chapter about code switching. And he's like, and he really helped me understand that code switching actually was not a negative thing. Like, if you were able to code switch, right, it means that you're able to communicate with different level of understanding. You can bring yourself down to that person, or you
Yep.
can elevate yourself so
Yes.
that they can receive what you're supposed to receive, remain productive, and keep going. Because at the end of the day, you got a job to do.
That's a
And if those people
talent.
can do, man,
It's a
he
talent.
said that. I was like, "Et, I wish I would have read this book, which just came out this year, I think, or in the last year." I said, I wish I would have had this book 7 years ago,
Yeah.
because it was a lot.
Yeah.
It
It's a
was too
talent
much.
to do that. And,
Yeah.
and you know, it's an asset. You use it
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah, you have to flip the coin.
Yeah.
We think as human being, we think, what was it? I think it's like 8 out of 10 or 8.5 out of 10 thoughts are negative. And so you have to remember that since it's our nature to be so negative and hard on ourselves and always think about the worst thing, you got to remember, like, if this is the worst thing right now, then that's the bottom. There's only one way up. Let's flip the coin.
Yeah.
So you got to remember to flip the coin. And that's what he helped me understand with code switching specifically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's definitely, yeah. More people need to understand that because you hear a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people that will, bash people like, oh, you're
Yeah.
talking quote unquote white, this and that and the third. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, man, you got to adapt. You got to be a
Mm-hmm.
chameleon out here. You
Yeah,
really
you
do.
do.
And at
You
the end
do.
of the day, if you want to accomplish or achieve certain things, I'm not saying sell out. I'm not saying act,
No.
out of your character, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a code that has been basically put into place by the people who run whatever organization, whatever infrastructure we're living in and under. It's been put into place because at the end of the day, let's be real about it. We're
Yeah.
just now becoming owners of small businesses. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? We're just now becoming owners. So how can you say that somebody's acting a certain way when they have to do what they have to do
Yeah.
and fit in, right? Fit
Mm-hmm.
into an organization that wasn't really built for them in the first place. But you
You
gotta,
know.
it's a
Mm.
means to not, I won't say, I hate to say an ends, but it's a mean to an ends. If you have, it's a means to an end. If you have a goal in mind and maybe that's not your final destination, you're just there for the time being to fund and fuel whatever it is you're trying to do for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you got to play the game so you can go and play your own game.
How to play the game. But you know what I love is that our generation are breaking some of those barriers for the next generation.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you something. I just went to my nephew's basketball. I think he's 16. We were at the basketball game earlier, and all I could see is young black men, right? Like, with their hair grown out. Some of them had dreads. Some of them had. I don't think anybody had braids. I can't remember, but they all had fade in, very clean. But it wasn't military cut. It wasn't like short cuts like you. Um, and I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, every single one of these young men are going to move in the workforce, but they will not have to feel like cutting their hair because we are taking care of this right now.
Yep.
Well, we have a long way, and I'm gonna manifest and pray out loud that they won't have to because they're only 16. Okay, in the next 5 years, they're gonna move in to the workforce. I would say, I don't know,
Yeah.
3, 4 years, whichever. But like, I really loved it. Like, they could be authentically them. I'm gonna grow out my hair. It's
Yep.
black hair. It's
Yep.
black, oily, sexy, curly hair. And if you don't think that's professional, that's on you. But I will remain professional no matter what. This is not going to distract you.
Right.
And I just love that. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, because I remember going to a basketball game just 3, 4 years ago, and they all had, again, they could not be authentically themselves. And I remember my husband always telling me, like, oh yeah, I always liked my long hair, but I had to cut them because
Yep.
I started working. I had to hide my tattoos. I started working. I
Yep.
said, you
Yeah.
have to do.
Yeah.
I said, oh heck no.
A
And
real thing.
I think this next generation is really going to show us like the real, like, oh, this is just me. If you don't want it, I can be a TikTok influencer real quick. Nah, I'm
Exactly.
kidding.
Yeah. I
They can
mean,
go a
but
lot more than
it's
just
the truth,
TikTok.
though. It's the truth.
Yeah,
It
you
sounds
know.
crazy, but it is the truth. They can go
But
be
I
a
love
gamer
it.
and be a millionaire. Sit there
Yeah.
and play games and let people watch them and be a millionaire.
My
And
daughter has, what was it? I was just she has, I think it's 3C curls. Like I have very different hair than her, and I looked at her and I was like, girl, you're gonna rock these curls no matter what. I'm gonna figure out how to do this hair together. I'm gonna pay somebody to come help me. She's not gonna look crazy, but by the time she's 5, by the time she's 10, by the time she's 20, like these curls are going to be her crown, as it always been,
yeah,
as
and
any
accepted in
any hair has been
workplace.
for. And nobody's gonna come to her and be like, "That's not professional."
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
No. Hell no. Like some of
That,
my friends that were told, it's a little distractive.
like, what
Looking
does
out
that
the
even
way.
mean? What does that even mean?
Looking out the way because she had long braids. I was like, just looking out the
Crazy,
way.
man.
Just
That is
looking out the way.
crazy.
And I'm not saying that one hairline or one hairstyle or one hair texture is better than the other one. Again, my family have all type of hair from really straight to very, very curly hair. But nobody's gonna go tell my cousin who has very straight hair, your hair is distractive. Nobody. So
Right.
you're not gonna go tell my black cousin this too. Okay?
Right.
So that's just what I'm trying to say is that even though we had to learn how to code switch, the next generation might not learn how to code switch the same way, because they're going to have a different type of superpower. But that with what is it? Peter Parker said, "With great power comes great responsibility," or something like this. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
have different type of breaking barriers to do, but like hair won't be one of them.
Right.
And when I talk to students, I always say that like they are pivoters. Their career, they're already in the career, like you said, and they're not happy. They're overworked. They're like underpaid. They're overwhelmed. Now, let me get it straight. Everybody wants a billionaire nowadays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because money is great, but money is a tool, and money does, can influence your emotions, but it's still a tool that you can control. And there's a way to do great, to earn greatly when you start working for digital advertising companies or digital ad agencies, like we call them. But at the same time, there's also great benefit. So when I help somebody get placed, and sometimes they don't even need my help because if they follow through the program, they can get a job, like they can find that job on their own. And so
Right.
I always tell them, like, it's about, it's like about what you bring to the table, those soft skills you already have, and how you can again leverage that to mask
Right.
that lack of, like, that ability that you're lacking.
So listen,
Um,
before they get the job though, because we haven't really dove into the programmatic
yeah,
media, like what is it? Explain it in a nutshell. What is it? Because you're saying it makes up about 84% of all ads
yeah,
advertising.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
exactly what is it? Because we see it every day, but probably don't even know that that's what
Oh,
it is. So can
no
you
joke.
explain exactly what it is?
Absolutely. So programmatic is like an adjective. It's like a term that just says it's defined as an automation, right? So instead of doing it manually, you're automated this thing using a technology, using a platform or software. Let's just remember that. So when you go into Facebook ads, you can go ahead and log into Ads Manager. Most of us are familiar with Ad
Mm-hmm.
Manager. And I'll give another example for those who are not. But you log into Ads Manager, you put all your input about your ad campaign, upload the creative, the message that you want to run, you select the audience, and then you deploy. Okay, we're going to call it deploy the ad. Okay, so now you've automated placing this ad to those people using ads manager, so using Facebook technology, but you're only accessing Facebook and maybe Instagram inventory. Now, some people will hear this and say, Facebook has an audience network. That's it. That's not really real advertising. You can email me about your opinion later, y'all. It's not real advertising, trust me.
So wait,
So,
hold on. Back up. That's a gem. So you're
mhm,
saying that
mhm,
the
mhm,
advertising that Facebook is marketing to these
mhm.
people on their platform, you're saying that's not real advertising.
So what I'm saying is that, thank you for asking that so I can clarify. When you're running an ad using Facebook Ads Manager, it is advertising. That's advertising.
Okay.
But within your option, there's a little button when you select placement, for
Mm-hmm.
those who knows Ads Manager, and it'll say audience network or whatever, or
Wait.
automated placement.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called audience. Yeah. When you select that, it serves the ad to those people within Facebook and a network of partners that Facebook handpicked. Okay,
Okay.
that network of partners are outside of Facebook. I don't know if anybody knows that.
Okay.
So that's why it's called the audience network. I think it was renamed to something else, but it's outside of Facebook. That means that if KoolKard, Kicking In with KoolKard, is running an ad on Facebook like about a show, you're
Mm-hmm.
paying, and is running on everyone's Facebook and Instagram, you select that automatic placement, it will show outside of Facebook.
Okay.
Okay,
So
on the world, on the
okay.
internet.
So with
So
that, what?
that part is not, I do not recommend it as an ad expert.
Okay. Got you.
Okay,
Got you.
for
Okay.
many reasons, and we can talk about it for 45 minutes, but if you're really interested, you can holler at me. I can tell you why.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
but placing the ad on Instagram and Facebook is is advertising, whether it's the news feed, whether it's the right hand side, whether it's the, I don't know, the marketplace, whatever option you have, it is. So
Okay.
now you understand that you're automating using Facebook basically, right? Because you're not reaching out to each of single audiences to place the ad. Programmatic advertising is that outside of any social media. So let me give you a quick example. Um, you're in a taxi cab and you see a screen in the taxi cab, whether it's like those third party vendor screen, and
Mm,
then you see an ad. That's a programmatic ad. And we were able to place it using a programmatic technology.
got
Okay.
you. Okay. All right.
When you're in Times Square, some of those big ads, when you are in the metro, in the subway, in the big cities, but in smaller cities, when you're in the grocery stores and you see those random, sometimes it's sponsored by like a brand.
Okay.
When you see those screens and you can see an ad, that's programmatic ad. When you're pumping the gas, when
Okay.
you see that same ad following you on your cell phone while
Yes.
you're reading the Huffington Post, and then you go into your email newsletter that you're subscribed to some newsletter, and then you see those ads on the side. All of those are programmatic ads, but people don't know about it. Let
Okay.
me give you this last example. When you log into Hulu, all these ads, they're programmatic. Okay, at least 90% of it, because you can still call Hulu and say, can I place it directly with you, right? That's
Okay.
direct advertising, but that's like, everybody knows direct advertising. What I'm talking about is the digital advertising that we place using this technology. So that's what programmatic ad is. And for a brand, whether you have a large budget or small budget, it's really important that you follow your audience outside of social media. They may consume a lot of social media today, but the reality is that there's like a lot of fragmentation in how we measure success in those social media platforms for privacy concerns, or reasons rather, for all these updates that are happening in Facebook. I mean, you can Google Facebook news and you'll read it. So it's really important. And when I say that it holds 84% of, North America, which is Canada, US, Mexico, budget, is literally, when you look at social media ad budget, when you look at Google search ad budget, and you look at programmatic holds that 84%. Okay.
Okay.
So even though it's a niched industry, it really not, because 2022, I think it's 155 billions of dollars that are estimated to be poured. So
Jeez.
it's no small money. Okay. There are 14,000 integrated ad agencies in the US only. 14,000. That means that those agencies offer social ads, search ads, programmatic ads, a little bit of everything.
Right.
Okay, it's almost like a full service house. And 100, what was it, 187,000 employees working in the like those type of agencies. So there's no lack of jobs out there, let me tell you. Just because Meta unfortunately laid off all those people, and my heart goes to them, the employees,
Yeah.
not Meta. um let's not allow the big tech companies to distract us from our goal, because all of those smaller size agencies are still hiring. Okay, and that's the markets I service. And then those market I was servicing for so many years now have been attracting larger market. And so when I say that I'm placing these people, it's like I'm teaching them how to run a campaign using those technology that I'm referring to.
Okay.
And again, it's all about that skill set. And not a lot of agencies have the resource, finances, and time to train somebody from scratch. So in my program, it's called the Reach and Frequency Program. In my program, we train them from not only the fundamentals. So remember what I said about definitions.
Yeah.
We don't only train them on definitions. We actually tell them like, all right, because you join this live program, it's 6 weeks accelerator. We take you from fundamentals to tactics to targeting mix to how to implement it in the technology, and they have hands-on access to a technology where they can practice it. So each program right now has a 10 seats. And I'm gonna be very honest because I'm not scared of my numbers. It started with 4 people, and only 2 people were serious, and then it went to 3, and then it went to 5, but only 3 were serious.
Okay.
And we're starting a new program this December because we're recording the week of Thanksgiving, right? And right now I have a 10-seater that I'm thinking about even increasing to 15. So if anybody still wants to tap in, I can drop in the comment how they can do that, or you can email them or whatever.
Okay.
That's that,
Yeah.
and I used to offer it for free, and people didn't take it seriously. So I put a price tag. People are taking seriously, and now I have enough data. I have enough, trials and tests that I can say, okay, actually, I cannot only teach these people the skill because they have to market it, right? It goes back to that confidence about, I mean, I'm entry level, so why would I go and no? Like, we're going to teach you everything you need to do to be marketable, but now you have to have a great resume. Um, you have to have a good LinkedIn profile, for instance. So now we have resume workshops and we have LinkedIn workshop that we offer. And very recently, I've been talking to those 3 bigger ad agencies, asking them to offer the students internships to hire. Okay.
Okay.
And those are not college students that are signing up to the program.
Right.
They are pivoters, like I call them, the career pivoters. We had a yoga teacher, we had a couple teachers, like grade school teachers, we had a dog trainer, we had
Wow.
somebody that had actually communication, media, and radio experience that wanted to pivot into the digital world. And so it's been a really exciting journey. I had somebody that was in fintech, financial technology,
Yeah.
industry, and all she needed is digital advertising on top of that. And so
And all of
you
them
don't
have made the transition?
they yeah, so the fall program, 3 of them are still in the transition.
Okay.
Okay. And then one of them found a job. There are a few of them, most recently, there are a few of them that are still transition. Like, so a few of them are still interviewing.
Okay.
They're interviewing for the next step. So as I'm doing those programs, I'm realizing like, oh, well, it'd be really helpful if I do have those 3 companies to offer them internship, right? So
Yeah,
now it's like
exactly.
even more experience. And so it's been really great. So by the time you're signing up to the program, if you're listening, like, those internships will already be signed and you're almost guaranteed that.
That's dope.
But you got to do the work. I can only offer you the fundamentals. I can only train you the lessons. I can send you all the assignment in the world. You
Yeah.
got to do the homework. You
And
got
you
to
have
do.
to go and sell yourself pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are group coaching, 1 hour group coaching every week. You got to show up because time is money and money is time. So for everyone.
What
And it's very flexible.
I was gonna say, what I was gonna ask you, what industries do you specialize in, like certain industries? When
So no.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry, let me simplify that.
Okay.
When you were working a 9 to 5,
Mhm.
did you
Mhm.
specialize in certain industries? And if
Mhm.
you did, what was like the hardest or the most difficult or the least difficult? I mean, I don't even know if
Mhm.
that makes sense to you, but or did you have a
Yeah.
favorite
Yeah. Yeah.
industry?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So because I work for ad agency, and that's the beauty of working for ad agency is that you get to work for multiple accounts in
Okay.
different industry. Excuse me. So I literally worked in like financial industry. I literally worked in like what was it? In education, tourism, leisure, rental company, well, travel company, I would say,
Okay.
travel industry, you name it. And I think my least favorite was definitely like pharma or any healthcare
Why?
because there are laws that restrict us from excluding in our targeting. So for instance, we can't exclude black people in our targeting. That's totally wrong, right? And because we cannot exclude any race and gender, sometimes it limits our way of how we filter the audience. And so what I mean is that using those technology called again demand side platform DSP, that technology allows us to have access to data providers, okay? And data providers have audiences packaged for us. And those
Okay.
audiences are, things like male between the age of 25 to 35, may live in Atlanta, maybe a YouTuber, because like they track your online behavior. Okay,
Okay.
YouTube track your online behavior, so don't act like you're surprised, like, oh my gosh, they're tracking me. Yes, they're tracking you this because you are logged in on everything and the internet tracks.
Yep.
And
They're
the
selling
internet
that
is
data.
free because advertising. Yes, so let's be real. The reason why the internet is free, including Facebook, is because of advertisers. Facebook's budget and revenue comes from advertising, period. Okay? So we got to track something. And honestly, I would rather be tracked to a certain level and not get lumberjacking ads because it's not relevant to me. Or like car parts ads. It's not relevant. It's relevant to my husband. He can get all those ads, but not me. I don't want
Right.
that. So that's what it does. So it allows us to target your audience, but we don't know that it's me or it's you. We
Yeah.
don't know your name, your social security numbers, your home address. We don't know this stuff.
Okay.
We just know like your profile, like a gender, age, and some online behaviors. We may have some financial tracking, like, oh, they purchased a car recently and they spent X amount of budget, or they may
Okay.
have a credit score of this, because some of those financial companies do release that data.
And this is
Uh,
this is all the data that you're getting from these companies that you buy it
yeah,
from. Like they have all
yeah,
that information. That
yeah.
is
But those
crazy.
data only get this information because the consumer gives access to.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
you have to
that's why
consent to
once,
it.
yeah. So
Okay.
that's why now, most recently, if you pay attention, go into your email, your spank or your junk email, you'll see a bunch of like, we've updated our privacy, or we made some update, and then you read it, it's a long ass email. You're like, what in the world is this?
Yep.
Like, it makes sense. And so from an industry perspective, we have to do better at educating consumers. But when we do research, the consumer don't care. Like, there's a lot of people that do research, those big companies that do research, that the consumer wants to know what type of privacy, what type of things are measured out there. They don't care. you
Yeah.
know they don't care. Like, we try, but it doesn't mean that we should stop. So that's why you see most of those companies sending those emails, but it's terrible. It's lawyer language. Don't nobody understand this
No,
language? Come
nobody
on.
understands it. Nobody reads it. They click it. They delete it.
Yeah, like I
I
I,
know I do.
I even click and delete it real quick.
Exactly.
So anyway, so yeah, so we're able to be very targeted in how we reach somebody like you with a message that we deem may be relevant.
Yeah.
So the reason why pharma is my least favorite, or healthcare to say, is because you can't do those exclusion. So you're more likely to target everybody and their mamas, and
Yeah.
that's not very relevant, and that's not as cost effective. And so the beauty of programmatic media is that it's very cost effective for the advertiser and the brand. You know,
So
so
what does an entry level job look like? in programmatic media? So say coming
I
from
love
your
that.
program, no
Yeah,
experience, they get your training, and now
yeah.
they're interviewing and they get hired. What does an entry level job look like?
I love that question because um, the program trains you on the most in-demand job, which is the job I had for many years. I was a campaign manager, okay, meaning I managed ad campaign for my client using one, two, three, four DSPs, depend, because you have different social media platform. We have different DSP platforms, so there's an added layer to your learning. You're welcome.
Oh, okay.
And so, but it's not impossible, like I said. So being able to log into one of those platforms, learn how to set up a campaign, put your budget, QA your work, right? Because anybody doing any work out there that got a QA work, there's a reason why we proofread our emails before sending it out, even to your mama or to your pastor or to your client. You got to proofread. Please proofread. I gotta preach. I gotta.
I saw that you have that in the footer of your email. Like, please
Yeah,
take your time. Or something about you
I
take your
take my
time.
because in the world of advertising, and I'll come back to your answer, but in the world of advertising, everything is so urgent. Like client will be like, we need 55 creative sets, right? Each set is like seven creative sites.
Hmm.
Each to be uploaded yesterday by 3 p.m. and launch. And I'm like, no, that's not realistic. It's not. So there are environments that creates this toxicity, but that's every job, right? There's always like a
Yeah.
toxic environment or situation, but you still love your coworker type of thing. So the same thing in programmatic. The same thing in ad agency, not only in programmatic, every ad agency. And so, so I like like people like real like I have some clients emailing me on separate and be like, I love that you have this. I think it's very bold. I'm like, I think it's very true. It's not bold at all. It's realistic.
Yeah.
Everybody should do that. And my signature is just literally says, I take my time responding to your email because I really want to respond with correct insight. It's intentional. It's, I'm fully present, and I do not respond to the world of urgency. Like there's no urgency for me.
Yeah.
Like there is no urgency in advertising. You might receive hate mail again for this. But there's no urgency unless
Yeah.
there's like a promotion that is not supposed to run and you're supposed to stop it. I would say maybe that's urgent, I guess. But anyway, so the most in-demand job is those campaign managers. So we call them programmatic traders, okay? Like a
Okay.
trader, like a stock trader, or buyer. So when you go on LinkedIn and you look for a job, plug in programmatic and select entry level, full time, whichever, and then you'll see a bunch of job titles come up. Some of them are called programmatic traders, programmatic media buyers, or just media buyers, or paid media specialists, paid media coordinator, what else, digital media coordinator, display strategist. All of those involve the world of programmatic. It's just a different way to do it. Some of those job titles are a little bit more like older school, I would say. And that job is the person that is setting up the ad campaign and managing and monitoring it, and they're optimizing based on performance, and they're reporting. So you're spending this money. What are the changes you need to do because you have all this data coming from, right? How much of this audience you need to adjust? Are male audiences performing better than female audiences? We've
Mm.
found that in some cases, female audiences perform way better when it comes to making big decisions, right? Because in some household in the US, let's say, female audiences are the decision makers. Daddy's at home, mommy's daddy's at work, mommy's at home, right? Working, running the household. We need to, I don't know, CPG audiences. We need to buy all the stuff for the house, or the baby needs dance classes, or we need a doctor's appointment. So they're decision makers. Now that's the traditional American household that I'm referring to. Okay, that's not everybody.
Right.
Okay,
Right. Right.
that's not like that in my household. Let me just say, that is definitely decision makers for a great reason. I love it. Okay, he can have all the control. He's the boss. So those people that I'm referring to make those kind of adjustment based on the data, and so that's what I teach. So I teach really the fundamentals, like how to set up in this main DSP so that you can pull this report, pull some insight. And so when you're doing your day-to-day job, your day-to-day job, and you're running a real campaign, This is how you do it. Okay. And people that, so I had a handful of people get hired from the program, like during my soft launch. And those agency came back saying, you're saving us 2 months, up to 2 months of onboarding. Because now I don't have a,
Wow.
to train them from scratch. Because
Yeah.
like they can pick up where I left off, as they should. Because the training doesn't stop with my program. Like I tell every single one of them, this is a learning journey and it doesn't stop with the certification you get at the end. You got to keep learning. It's a technology based industry.
Right.
Anything related to technology is ongoing. There's always an update. I mean, damn it, Apple reminds us all the time.
Right.
They keep updating these
Exactly.
phones, and I'm like, where is this one set? Just
Always.
too much, you know. So you got to keep learning, but it's not impossible. And I think that's what makes it fun is the fact that, dang, there's always something to keep you on your toes, and that there's always like a different technology that's going to come out or different trends, and you're like, this is actually really cool. I get to look at this trend, implement, and get back to my client and say, most of the people that are performing, buying, listening to your show, and then booking your consulting with you are men between these ages, most likely to live in this city, most likely to purchase, I don't know, this or to drive this type of cars,
Mm-hmm.
or to have kids in the household, or multi-generational, or speak a second language because of the data. And you get to build this persona based on your performance, like something that ran. And
So
that's the really cool part of the job.
so basically they're pretty much a data analyst. That's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
mean,
hearing.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna be definitely be in the data.
Are any
But
are any of the entry level jobs work from home?
all of them. That's what I preach. That's
For
what I.
oh, okay.
Well, not all of them. Let me retract that. Skirt. Most of them are, because some
Okay.
ad agencies will like require you to be in office. Cool. Some people still want that. Other agencies will have you like do a hybrid type of thing. Come in a couple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Other agencies is like remote. Like matter of fact, a lot of the clients I work with, I've never met in person. I've been in business for 3 years and a half.
Wow.
I've been doing this for the last 6, 7 months. You remember
Okay.
how we talk about God having a way? I thought I had a plan, and my plan didn't come through. And then God kept putting seeds, and He was like, "No, you got to train people. This is
Yeah.
what you got." And I was like, I can't find God. I'm gonna do what you want to do, and I did. And I've never been happier, And I ain't rich, but the impact that my business has makes me feel really good at night, and it makes me feel not only good but proud.
Yeah.
And it gives people, like, literally somebody in the program last week told me, thank you for offering this option, because
Changing lives,
I
man.
yeah, like
Changing
it's
lives.
just like people don't know about this. Like some people just need to understand that their current situation, although miserable, although hurtful, painful, is not their final. Okay.
Yeah.
And just because our environment pushes us to just keep through, keep going, something's gonna come up. No, God tells you have to help yourself first. You got to do the work.
Absolutely.
So some people
It
just
all the
need to
time.
understand that there's another option. Now I have people that go through the webinar, because I do a webinar where I explain some of the concept and what the program is about. I have people call me and be like, listen, this is really interesting, but I don't think it's for me.
Yeah.
I want to be a creative designer. I want to be a project manager. And I'm like, cool, great, good for you. Here's this person. I had somebody call me. Well, what was it? You're about to hear the train soon.
Well, I heard
And
it.
then you heard
Yeah,
it.
it's
Y'all
been
heard.
it's been
That's how you
tooting
know.
out there.
I I I ain't in the city, honey. I am in the south right now.
It's
Okay, it's
all
me, the south.
good. I told you,
Um,
I grew up next to one. For
right.
real. Every
But
day, all night.
yeah,
Yeah. Like
but
literally next door.
it's funny. So the person, what was I going? Oh, the person called me and he was like, I'm a real estate agent, but right now it's really hard to make money.
Hmm.
I don't want to give up on that, but during most of my day, I want to be able to bring some type of income. And I say, well, maybe you can consider this, but this is for full-time jobs. Like, how do you want to manage that? And he told me, well, I have a lot of contact with those small businesses because he's in commercial,
Okay.
and all of them are always asking me like, who should be doing my advertising. And so I want to be able to sell the services for other agencies. And I'm like, you know how many people need you right now? Here's this number, here's this person, here's this. I'm like, if you're interested in selling programmatic, I would hire you. Okay. Matter of fact, come to my webinar, and he did. So we're gonna talk about things next week. But
That's what's
it
up.
just goes to say, like, you always there's more option. What you're doing right now is not your final destination.
Yeah.
It's probably just the beginning. And even if you cannot see it, nobody can see our future. Nobody.
Right.
Okay. You just gotta have faith in yourself
Sometimes you
that
just
you
gotta
can do it.
take a chance, man. You know, take a
Gotta
chance
take
in
risks.
a career change. Is the job stressful? Those entry level jobs, are they stressful? Like looking at all that data and having to report back, and I'm pretty sure the client has a lot of questions. Or they,
Mhm.
how does that work? Is it stressful at
Well,
all?
I don't know. What would you define stressful?
Well,
Because
I
that's the
guess
job description
it
right
would.
there. You will
pro-
have to manage the campaign. You'll have to look at some data. You'll have to, pull some insight. But that's just like what it is, And
You know what though? I'll say this. It's probably based on personality.
now, you know what? That's a good point too, because I do see it. Even like when I used to work, like there were certain situations that I allowed to stress me. Now
Okay.
it is what it is.
It
I
is
do
what it
not
is.
subscribe to the world urgency. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
but I think the program is going to keep growing. I know for a fact it's going to keep growing
Oh, for
because
sure.
people are talking that I don't know, and doors are opening without me even knowing. Because again, God is planting seeds, and I'm like, God, this is scary. This is real scary, but
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
know
do
the
it.
best thing is when your name's being mentioned in rooms that you have no idea you're being
Yeah.
mentioned in, rooms you're not in, by
Hmm.
people that you don't even know. That's
Hmm.
when you know you're making an impact, you're making a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
You know?
And I remember being in their situation, and like I said, I got lucky. I got lucky that I was hired by this agency. And you were talking about, like, right now, if you YouTube programmatic, you'll find a decent amount of information. You can DIY some of the skill set.
Yeah.
But how much time do you have on this planet?
Right.
How much time do you think you have on this planet? Hmm? This life is a privilege. It is not. It's like a gift from God. So
Preach.
why would we waste our time trying to figure things out? That's why I let me give you this example. I thought I wanted to learn how to do my own nails, like acrylics, fake nails, and I invested in everything, the darn light. You know how long it took me to take one hair? It was 6 hours. And the nails were like this. The other one was like this. This
Oh my god.
was all over. And I was like, what? I'm going to go pay $50 tomorrow to get those things fixed.
Right.
That was like years ago. It's still under my guest bathroom. All the stuff. I was like, I can't let it go. I feel like it's a piece of me that I tried, and I know I failed, and it's okay. Like, they do it for what, $50 to $75, you know, the fake nails, I guess, or the
Yeah.
acrylics or whatever. And they do it an hour and a half. You think I'm 6 hours, an
Yeah.
hour and a half. So that's what this program is offering. And again, that's why I always preach, like, if you can relate to the person and you know that, this is really speaking to my soul right now, I really want to find out more, go find out more.
Yeah.
Most likely this person is offering a free consultation call. They're offering so much content on their website or their social media. You can figure it out and make a decision. They're offering some type of 3 to 5 day challenges. Go do it. It's a small investment. Or a webinar, like I do a free masterclass, or it's an hour and a half webinar. Take it. It's free. That's how you're
Right.
gonna figure it out for free
Yeah.
if you should do something or if you're
Right.
not. So take a chance. And like, if it feels uncomfortable, you on the right path. Because if it feels too comfortable, you ain't growing. I don't
Yeah,
care what we do.
exactly.
There's no growth in comfort. There's absolutely no growth
Real
in comfort.
quick, talk about the difference between your training and others, because I saw something on your website where you were
Hmm.
saying like a lot of the training for programmatic media is
Hmm.
not is ineffective, and what you're
Yeah,
doing is. So can you kind of touch on that just real
yeah.
quick?
So I created my training because of the lack of information that from other training. And so today, again, I was actually going for that earlier when I said the YouTube stuff, but you can YouTube some stuff and get the information. But the training that I'm providing is really focused on those campaign managers, like that job description, what I did for so many years.
Okay.
And so The only way to get training like that these days is for working for a company or an ad agency, or working for those tech, the platform like the DSP that I mentioned, the data providers. So there's a lot of those DSPs. Actually, all of them offer a course, but it's usually only accessible on if you're a client. Literally, I reached out to a couple of them, and they were like, "Oh no, we can't offer, like, give you a free seat on the platform, because you have to be a client." And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to teach this platform so that people can get hired, and they don't, like, I'm really trying to help you in the long run. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's not. So the only way you get this training is either through the DSP, through the technology, or working for somebody. And when you get it from the DSP, because I can tell you all the DSPs, the Trade Desk, Simplify, Adelphic, Media Math, all of them, you can Google them and you'll see that they offer some courses. Some of them are free, but they're very specific to, they're focused on the technologies themselves. Now, they're not bad. They're actually really good. They're really good. But my mind focus on the user,
Okay.
like on me. Like when I created this course, I was like, I don't know, okay, when I was doing this, what did I do that did not work? Oh, definitely got to mention this.
Right.
And
Okay.
I
Got you.
pulled, and I pulled some stuff from the other, because like one of the students told me last week, she just got certified by taking the free course for StackAdapt, which is another DSP. And I was like, girl, that's great. That is amazing. So they're going out getting more of those certification, and getting that knowledge in addition to mine, because mine introduced them to that. So
So
not,
do a
they're
lot of
not
the
bad.
are a lot of the other trainers in that field using like the free information, and that's just that, so they're learning about the technology and not the user?
So when I say the user, is that it'll tell you like, okay, this is how you have to use the DSP. This is how you set up. This is what our DSP offers.
Mm-hmm.
This is our capability, the capabilities you have in the DSP. When you focus on the user, you focus on the person that's going to use the DSP, right? So in order for you to know how to set up the DSP, for instance, you got to understand the different hierarchy, right? You got to understand the advertiser, the insertion order, this control the budgets, this control the creative. Creative is this, budget is like that, boom, boom, boom. So my training is a great initial training to take for the other trainings.
Okay.
But like I said, not a lot of those trainings are available for free. And when they are, it's literally just like the fundamentals.
Okay.
And there's
So you
always a part like, this is what StackAdapt can do for you. And not so much like, with our capabilities, this is how you should do this. So it's very much focusing on the person who's taking it.
so you said that you do offer free courses or a webinar, and then you have the classes that are paid, correct?
Yeah. The
Okay.
program is paid. It's Accelerator 6 weeks program.
Okay. Can they sign up on your website?
Yeah.
Drop
I'm
the website.
actually running a special.
There you go. And drop the
um,
website where they can go get it.
yeah. So the special is, you get to tap into the program for the same price as, um, as the webinar. So once in a while, I'll do those webinar where I discount the course,
Okay.
the program. Right now, the program is 1,275, 1,275,
Okay.
and so the special will be, you tap in for 859,
Okay.
and then you get everything. You get all the same benefits. So it's 6 weeks program. You get on-demand lessons, 1 hour group coaching, 1 hour community coaching. So that's 2 hours with me plus some, LinkedIn resume. LinkedIn and resume workshops. Mock interviews are added if you sign up to the special,
Okay.
with other professional. And if they pay in full, they get to be a guest on my podcast, which gives them visibility as job seekers or
Okay.
as professionals. Like, it gives you authority. You've been interviewed about what? And the way we interview is like really low key, just talking about their journey, what they learn in the program, but like what their aspiration are. So it's very low key. And so it's not like setting them up. They won't have to learn everything by heart to recite on the interview, right? I don't
Right.
set them up because I want to highlight them. And then the last thing I'll say with the program is like that hands-on in the DSP. Like, I give them how to set up so they'll know how to do it on their own,
Okay.
And so the website is reachandfrequency.online/Black Friday.
There it is.
I know
Black
it's not
Friday
long.
deals right here. Changing
Yeah, and
lives with Black Friday deals.
right.
Hit the
Yeah,
link, hit the website, and go change your life. If you're unhappy, why not go check
yeah.
it out? So okay, so you said you give the free webinar so they can kind of get a gist of it and see if they even like it. So where can they go for the webinar? Is there a webinar
So
on there,
if
or
they
is
go to
it
the page, they'll be able to have the replay of the most recent webinar I did maybe a couple weeks ago.
okay?
And then the next program starts the week of December 9th,
Okay.
because next week is December, but still November. So the following week.
All right.
And so
Yes.
as soon as they sign up this week, they'll receive all the information. And people always ask me like, oh, how long do I have access to the course or the lessons? I said, that's a lifetime.
Okay.
And then the second question they always ask is like, when are the group coaching? And honestly, right now, I don't decide on behalf of the students. I let them know like what's all of y'all availability, and I'm trying to find something that works with everybody. And so far, it's been working for everybody. So that's a blessing.
Okay.
So we get to decide together like when you want to meet with me. I do have hours that I want to keep it in. So like my weekends for my daughters and myself, my family and my husband. So I don't do weekend. But once in a while I'll take a personal call. Like somebody calls me on my cell phone to discuss some matters. Okay. So they get to decide together, and like the resume and LinkedIn workshops, it's not an additional cost. They get to have that resume. They get to have that new LinkedIn profile, So, and there is a monthly payment option too. That's a question that comes up a lot.
Okay. That's cool.
But some of the monthly payment option does not give you like you don't get the podcast interview. I really want you to invest in yourself, and investing that big lump sum is like, that's a bonus,
So buy now, pay later. What's the excuse? If you want the training, buy now, pay later, Black Friday deal, podcast, all that. Yeah. Change your life. Change your life. Hey, before we get out of here, what is one thing, is a self-analysis, what's one thing that you feel that you could be doing better or more of to help you get to where you're going?
Reading.
Reading?
Yeah. I'm a big reader. I'm a big bookworm.
Okay.
And I used to read 10 pages a day. I was in an entrepreneurship group called the Social Proof Podcast, the Morning Meetup by David Shentz. Look them up.
Okay.
And then it's like a mini book club. So every morning we had like maybe 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of book club about reading the same page at the same time. And then we'll get into the session, the leadership session, entrepreneurship session. And so when I left the group to join another one this year that really accelerated my business as well, I kind of lost that routine. And so I definitely want to, I'm still reading books now. Okay. Y'all don't play me. I'm still reading books. I'm just not reading books as aggressively as I used to. Okay. I still read about 8 books this year. But last year, I think we were at like 15 or almost 17.
So books. At 10 pages a day, that was increasing your book count.
Yeah, that was increasing book count, but also it was increasing our knowledge. And then it gives you different perspective. You learn from other people's successes and mistakes and, and trials and tribulations. And I think anyone listening right now, whether you're a 9-to-5er, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you just want to support your family, self-development is the way to go. So invest in your self-development. My program is one of them, but invest in self-development that can make you a better you.
Yes.
Understanding who you are. Because when you understand what you can bring to the world will see your value even more clearly. Okay? Absolutely. And just because you understand one thing about yourself today, don't mean that it's not going to grow or change. So be flexible and adaptable. Yes. So definitely, if something I wanted to do more would be reading more books, because I just love it. I just want to sit down and read a bunch of books, not be bothered by nobody. And I'm an extrovert, but I like that me time. Okay?
Huh?
I said I'm an extrovert, but I love that me time.
Yeah, for sure. We all do. You all need to recharge, man.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Well, listen, I have all your links down in the description. So if anybody is interested, please click the links, double back, rewind this, go watch the replay, get these
Yeah.
gems, figure out if this is for you. Like you said, you got a webinar on your website. So if you guys just want a kind of a sample, they're trying to get a taste of it to see if
Yeah.
it's for you, there's a free webinar on there as well without having to spend money. She has the Black Friday deal going on where you get the podcast, you get interviewed. It's going to give you a little more credibility. She has the buy now, pay later. You can pay in 4 installments, just like how you, when you order online and you can't afford it right now and you want them 4 payments, you can do that too. So no excuses. Run it up. All right. It's the holiday season.
Yeah. And invest in yourself. I know a lot of people want to go shopping in Black Friday. Take that sacrifice 1 year, because next year you'll have a different conversation. Next year you'll be in a different place. So you either wanna what did I'll end with this, I promise. Like Fabiana Ferrarini, she said a month from now, it's either gonna be a month worth of excuse or already a month of progress.
Yep.
So which one are you going to be? And don't tell me I'm waiting for the new year to be a new me and do new things. No,
I don't want to hear no new.
January 1st is tomorrow. It's now. What you gonna do to make sure that a month from now, when it's January 1st, you are already in a different headspace first,
Yes.
and then a different life, or on the way to. You know,
waiting is what has you where you are right now. Waiting. Yep. I'm gonna wait till the new year. No, you're waiting.
Time is
you're gonna continue
such a
waiting.
valuable thing. We think we own time. We think God owes us all of this. No, boo. He can take it as fast as he gave it to you. So don't waste your time.
Right now, he could take it right now.
Claim your time back. Is that what they say? You gotta claim your time back.
However we can.
What would be one thing you want to do? What's your one thing
that I want to do? Wait, hold on. Hold on. You gotta preference this now. What are you talking?
The question you just asked me about one thing you want to do better to.
Did I want to do? Oh, I want to stop trying to do 20 things at one time. I really need to stop and sit down, behind down, and focus on one task at a time. I'm not saying that I can't multitask, but I'm saying I can't multitask. But no, seriously. When it comes to like bigger projects, really just hone in, focus, and just weed out all the distractions and just really,
that's good.
Really, dive into it, man, and get lost into it. Because I know because I did music for so long, right? I would stay up to the wee hours of the morning, and that was when I was most creative. I was at my most creative point. Was 2-3 in the morning, and I could really zone in. And nothing else mattered, and it was just like a magical moment. And I don't feel like I've been to that point in so long. That's why I know I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing as far as with that laser focus. I've been there. I know what it feels like, and I haven't felt that in so long. So I know that I need to get there. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm lacking in that.
Oh my gosh. You need to read this book called One Thing, The One Thing by Gary Keller.
Gary Keller, One Thing. Okay.
And then after that, you can read Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Okay.
Atomic Habits is pretty popular.
Gary Keller.
But read One Thing first, because it really focuses on, if you focus on this one thing, like you're going to move the needle faster than we think. And doing multiple things can set us up. And literally, like when I joined that new program this year for my business, it tells us, like Rachel Rogers is the coach, the business coach. She tells us that in order for you to move your business from 0 to 7 figures, you got to master your one offer. And a lot of business owners think they need to have multiple offers, offering everybody everything in their mamas. But she's like, no, you can scale your business to 7 figures, sis, because sisters are her thing. If you focus on this one offer, because you can create the offer that makes you happy. And she has a system to help you teach it.
Yeah.
And then master it and double your prices, because you're worth it. And most of us are undercharging.
Yep.
A lot
of people are afraid to charge. Really, it makes them uncomfortable.
Sometimes I still is. Sometimes I still is. And then after that, you'll have multiple, like you can develop other offers and other offers. But when people hear that, they're like, oh, no, impossible. As soon as I started doing this, not only did I see my income and my revenue increase, but like I started feeling better. I'm not working 12 hours anymore. Like sometimes I force myself to work at least 6 hours.
Oh wow.
But those 6 hours are productive AF, okay?
Yeah.
That's how I started starting a team. And that's when I was like, I want to hire more people to inspire more people. That's what I'm doing right now.
That's dope.
So the one thing really put things into perspective for me, and then joining that group, of course, was like, oh wow, okay, God, I see what you're trying to do.
Let me put that in my phone.
One, I'm about
Gotta
to send
get
it to
it.
you. I'm gonna DM you until like one
Yeah,
thing by
DM me. The one
but
thing, Gary
and
Keller, but DM me that.
and it's not a lot of reading. Like it was bigger writing, which is great, you know.
Okay.
So it didn't take that long to read. And I
Okay.
do think it's Audible. I think Audible is still considered reading in
Nah,
my
I need
opinion.
to read it.
Yeah,
I
I'm the
need
same way too.
I
But
need the
sometimes
book.
Audible is a nice fix for me.
Audible
So
is cool, but I'll tend to forget it. I know people say if you hear it spoken, then you remember it easier. But I think just
yeah,
me just diving into the pages and seeing it on the page,
yeah,
I don't know, it does something for me.
yeah.
I
You're right.
think
And then
I think that's
reading
the
is a good
student
way
in
to
me.
work out your brain too. Like we work out our bodies, but how do you work out your brain?
Yeah,
Like the easiest way to do that is by reading.
yeah.
So reading the letters, not
That's
only
the
hearing.
student in me. I have to
Mm-hmm.
read it. I can't
Yeah.
listen back to notes and all that
Yeah.
stuff and go take a
Yeah,
no.
I'll be having my highlighters, highlighting like,
Yeah.
ooh, let
I'm
me
so
tweet it
used to
real
just
quick.
going over my notes 100 times, just
Yeah,
going over, going in and just killing the test. I can't sit
yeah.
there and listen to an audio version of it now.
Yeah, well,
Recording,
that's the
playing it
actor
back.
in you. That's the performer in you. That's the musician in you. That's what y'all do. Like you go over your script. You do all, you review your
Yeah,
notes. So that's just like who you are, and I think it's a great thing. I think it's a
yeah,
great thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Definitely DM me the book.
Yeah.
Get that book. Yeah, seriously, I'm gonna get it. So DM me that book so I can go and grab that. I need that. That's my one thing. I need
The
that. There's
one
a
thing.
couple other things, but that's my one thing. I just need to focus. I need
Oh,
to
so
focus.
funny. Yeah,
Yeah, I need
yeah,
to
that's
focus.
funny.
And my introvert self, I need to get out more and kind of grow
Yeah,
my circle. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah. And
I hold my connections very near and dear. So it's
mhm.
I gotta siphon those. You know what I'm saying? I just can't share my energy with everybody. And that's not on like
Well,
some old I'm better than anybody, but it's just like I can't put my energy
mhm.
out there amongst the wrong energy much.
That's true. You have to protect
You know what
yourself
I'm saying?
and your
Like I
energy.
gotta protect my energy, man. That's my
Yeah, you got
everything. Like
to.
I live and survive off energy. I read
Mm,
people's
I hear
energy.
that.
I can tell you how you're feeling before when as soon as you walk in the room, I know how you're feeling. And I sometimes I know how you're feeling before you even know how you're feeling. Like I've told people,
That's called being an empath because I'm a little bit like that too. I can
listen,
walk in a room and I feel like somebody is really sad right now and it's
yeah, yeah,
filling my soul. I need to
yeah,
figure out who it is. Now I can't. I'm not a medium, but there's been situation where I'm sitting next to a person and I felt their heart is so heavy that I'm crying,
yeah,
like literally tearing up. Like God, what is happening? And I look around and I see somebody feeling so soulless almost, and I have to talk to the person. Most of the time, it's like a coworker that's going through so much
yep.
at home, and you have no
I
idea.
listen. I was talking to someone and it was just different, and I had just met them, you know. But like this was like my third encounter maybe with them,
Mhm.
and I was like, listen, I don't want to offend you or nothing like that, but I just gotta
Mhm.
ask you, like, did something change? Are
Mhm.
you okay? Like, do you feel a certain way about me? And they were like,
Mhm.
what are you talking about? I'm just like, well, your energy is different today. It's
Yeah, yeah,
different. And
yeah, yeah.
they were like, no, no, it's not. What are you talking about? I'm like, no, your energy is different. There's something going on with you, and it may not be towards
Yeah.
me, but I feel it, and I have, and I'm so blunt. I don't want to say the word. I'm so real, but I'm so
Mhm.
blunt and just transparent. Like
You're straightforward.
I
You gotta.
have to bring it to your attention. So if it
Mhm.
is something with me, please let me know right now because we gotta talk through it. Cause I'm gonna tell
Mhm.
you, okay, if I'm wrong, yeah, I'll admit I'm wrong. I'll apologize. Or if it's nothing, or you know, you're getting the wrong idea, I'm gonna let you know that as well. But we
Yeah,
have to talk about it. So
yeah,
your energy's off. I need to
yeah.
know what it is because I'm in here with you and I can't be in here with you with your energy off like that. I'm not just gonna sit here and just have that sitting on me like that. So I'm like,
Yeah,
you know, is something like,
yeah.
do you feel a certain way? And she was like, no, no. She was like, no, I don't know. She was like, well, I did such and such and such this morning. And I was like, oh, that's it. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah, that's it. And it had nothing to do with me. But I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's it. That's your shift this morning.
Yeah,
But I'm telling you,
yeah.
something's different. But she didn't even know. She didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? She didn't know that her disposition was just different. Her energy was different from based on what she had gone through
Yeah.
or experienced that morning. And I had to tell her, and she was like, "Oh wow." So from that point
Wow.
on, she was like, "Oh my God, I just respect you so much because you didn't know me from anybody. You just met me, but you just kept it real with me, and you brought it to my attention, and this and that and the third." I'm like, "Yeah, I have to." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I have to.
it's real, and people don't realize like how much of our personal lives we can bring, like how much of our environment affect us.
Yeah.
Like when you want to lose weight and you're overweight, the first thing your fitness instructor tells you is that you got to clean your environment. You got
Yep.
to go into your pantry and clean all this junk and
Yep.
replace it with fruits, veggies, and celery, whatever.
Yep.
And
Ride the scale.
leave a bowl of apples on your counter, because like sometimes we eat because we're bored, and that's
Yep.
also saying a lot of stuff.
That's
Like
the easiest way
maybe
to
you have,
just
yeah,
grab your
maybe you
apple
have,
instead of junk.
yeah. And so you gotta clean your environment. And sometimes if you know you cannot control your environment because right now your family is a lot, it's very negative,
Yep.
then what is part of your routine that makes sure that you're taking care of yourself?
Yep.
And I like to say, like, spending time with God, whether you believe or not, spending time by yourself, with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and not allowing those negative thoughts to take over,
Yeah.
like really claiming the positive things about yourself, claiming your win. What we do when every group coaching calls, community calls, is that I tell everybody you need to share two wins
Mm-hmm.
and one challenge. Why one challenge? Because I know I can ask you right now, what went wrong? You're gonna tell me a whole list, and then I'm gonna tell you, can you share two wins? They'll be like,
Yep.
shit, ah.
Yep.
And it's be like nothing. I say, you finna tell me you don't have nothing to celebrate right now? And so
Right.
I'll tell them, like, what is something professional and personal, because our jobs come and go. The person is
Yep.
here.
Yep.
And so, like, something as easy as I took my vitamins every day, that's a motherfucking win. Excuse my French, okay? You
Exactly.
took your
It
vitamins
is.
every single day. Good for you, homie.
Yep.
Or I worked out every day. I walked the dog every day. You're moving your body. I spent 5 minutes with my daughter, 5 minutes extra time with my daughter reading books daily last week. That's the win. Consistency.
Win.
Good job.
Yep.
So because we think we're supposed to have those big win certification, on social media likes, we forget those little things, like those little
Sometimes,
moments that
sometimes
makes us.
the little wins is all we need to keep us
Yeah,
going. Cause you've
yeah.
been sometimes, man, you could be losing for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You're spiraling, and you just need a win. Just take a small win. But the thing is, everybody's batting for the home run, so they
Yeah.
don't
Did you
get the
help
small win.
somebody? Did
Yeah.
you did you compliment a stranger? I mean, there was like this one time in a community call. I hope my battery's not gonna shut off the phone. He just told me twice already. But
Good.
the gentleman was like saying, Carlos, he's on my podcast. So I interviewed him a couple times too. And he was like, oh, I don't know. It was a while ago. He's like, I don't know, if I had a good week or whatever. And I told him, like, okay, what are some of the big things you did? He was saying something like, oh, well, I looked through my company and I saw a couple mistake and some budget was miscalculated, and I helped my company save 70, I think it was 70 to $50,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
In budget spent. So he made sure that this budget was going to be accounted for. And I said, so you just helped the company save like 50 to 70K. It was a number. It was a big number. I can't remember if it was 50 or 70. He was like, oh yeah. I was like, that ain't a win for you, because that's a big win for me and for your people. Okay.
Right.
Like you need to get
Exactly.
off right now, go take a shot, celebrate a tea. He's into yoga. So go like
Yeah.
namaste or something. That's a big win. But we think that we just do it because it's our job, or really quickly that you can't celebrate. Now, Carlos cannot stop talking about his wins. He's like, what did
That's what's
what
up.
was the challenge? Oh yeah, I did struggle. you know, and like that's the whole point. When you focus on the glass halfway full, like you can really, really change your perspective. And just like remember the
Yeah.
coin. A coin has a negative. You can have one-sided coin, you don't have a one-sided paper. There's always a two-sided coin. There's a negative
Absolutely.
ions and there's a positive ion for a reason. So both have to exist no matter what. But when the negative takes over, how do you make sure you focus on this positive one? You got to flip the coin, turn it off, and put this up front. So just remember, when there's something happening right now, you're listening, you're like, yo, this sucks. I don't even have the energy. Like, flip the coin. This is the lowest you can ever feel in your life. So
Yeah.
that means the next step, which is always the hardest, The first step is always the hardest, but that's it. After that step, then you got some endurance. You can, move a little faster.
Yep.
It gets better. So just go for yourself.
Absolutely.
Doing it. I believe in you.
Yes, we believe in you. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, we're gonna wrap this up. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you,
Yay.
Helene, for coming on the show and enlightening us. Yes, 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 yes. Just I had never heard of the term, so thank you for
Yeah.
spreading all that knowledge and just giving out, being transparent. Look, we've been on here for an hour and a half.
What?
Yeah, been on here for an
Look,
hour and a half.
I told, look, listen, before we got on this call, I was like, listen, can we keep it at 30 minutes? He's like, well, most people keep going, but all right. I was like, I'm not going to be those people.
Right, you're one of the longest. How about that?
Listen, I want to say thank you again for allowing me to come, and thank you for allowing your platform to inspire people. So if nobody told you today, thank you for being you. Thank you for inspiring. Thank you for just doing what you're doing, because we think that, nobody hears us, but even if one person gets to hear our voice and what we have to share, and they get inspired from it, I think that's a win. So keep doing what you're doing, because your voice needs to be heard and your energy is on point. And I think this is going to be like, people need to hear this. Even if two people are on the live right now, that's all that matters. I don't even care. We did what we had to do.
I really appreciate that. And you keep
Of
doing
course.
what you're doing as well. Like, you changing lives. So definitely.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Everybody, make sure you check out her course. Make sure you check out the webinar just to see if there's something that you're interested in. It could change your life. All right. You know where I'm at every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, kicking it with somebody like Helene Parker. All right. Thank you so much once again. Hey, until next time, we are out. Enjoy the holidays. Enjoy your family. Love and live life, y'all. We out of here. Peace.